Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out Atelier Sophie, the Alchemist of the Mysterious Book. This game's in kind of a weird situation because this is the first game in the third modern trilogy, like PlayStation 3 generation trilogy, of the Atelier games, except this one isn't even coming out on PlayStation 3 over here, which is a weird thing to be, but anyway, we'll just ignore that. So, notably, the second trilogy of the Atelier games, which is the Dust trilogy, hasn't even finished here yet, technically, in the West. And we're already, well, technically on the Vita, on the PS3 we've gotten the last one, but, yeah, on the Vita we've already jumped straight to the third trilogy. I wonder if the second trilogy is going to get finished up anytime soon, but anyway, that's not entirely important, so let's just go have a look around the settings menu. All the settings you'd expect, including a difficulty setting. I don't remember seeing this last game I was playing, but then again, that might have been just me. I'm terrible at missing these sorts of things. You do also have the ability to change to the Japanese dub. Don't worry, that's here. Notably though, this game is actually a lot smaller than the other Atelier games. Like, if we go have a look, it's roughly around 2 gigabytes. Yeah. I can remember the Atelier, what was the first trilogy again? No, I don't bloody remember, but Rorona Totori Maruru, I remember them being a lot bigger than 2 gig, but oh well, let's get to it. So, gonna load my game, it's about 3 hours in, and, you know, obviously I would have gone a bit further if I felt the need to, but I don't really think I do, because it's an Atelier game, and that just generally tells you everything you need to know. So let's go and play some Atelier Sophie, shall we? If I could hit the yes button, thank you. Alright, so instead of wasting time talking about how everything works in this general area, I'm just going to make my way to the world map, and we're going to go to an area, and I'll let you see a little bit of a cutscene with a bit of voice talent, just so you can have a look at that first, and I don't spend 10 minutes wallowing around in menus.
Where are we going next?
So we're just going to head to the Forgotten Nursery, because there's a cutscene here. There's a little event in the road here as well, so...
Hey, what's that?
10
so
coal?
Like
that's a pittance. That is literally nothing. Thanks, game. But anyway, here we are at the Forgotten Nursery, so we'll just hop on in and we'll watch a cutscene. I'll turn it up a little.
This is the place.
So, where's this monster you were talking about?
Oh, over there.
Wait, is that the monster?
Yeah, that's the one.
Wait, Oscar? You never said it looked that strong!
I did! I clearly told you it was a terrible monster.
I know you said that, but you didn't say that it was that terrible!
Stop, both of you! Be quiet! Shh! It noticed us.
What should we do?
Sophie! What? The monster.
He took it out in one hit? Who is that guy?
I was... saved?
Are you okay? Are you injured?
I'm okay.
I see. That's good. Then I'll be taking my leave.
He left.
Sophie! Are you okay?
Yeah.
But who was that?
I don't know. But he saved me. So he must be a good person.
I'm sorry, Sophie. It's all because I insisted that you come and help fight that monster.
It's okay. The monster's been beaten, so it's all fine in the end.
But we can't be sure another monster like that won't appear. We should hurry back to town.
Oh, now that I think about it, I forgot to ask that guy's name.
You thought I was gonna fucking die. As soon as I opened my
On your guard,
mouth.
everyone. This won't
Oh
be
well,
easy.
we're in combat, so we might as well show off how combat works. So it works about the same. This lady has vagina bones. Yeah, I'm not gonna lag on that for too long. But anyway, this is how combat works now in the third trilogy. You have all the usual things you expect. You can use items, you can attack, you can use skills that you unlock via the leveling up process, which is pretty obvious what it is. It's been the same for the last 6 games, but, you know, gain XP, level up, get new stuff. However, what's new is that they've updated the way the chain link works, and I honestly don't like it. So the chain link, that little meter down in the bottom left, when that fills up, you'll be able to use either an offensive strike or a defensive strike. And depending on which one of these two here you pick via the L and R buttons, it will do it automatically once the chain link is filled up. And honestly, I don't like this one bit, because in the previous games you could select which one you'd want to do and where, and it was great for using strategically because you could build up some chain links and either get a massive amount of attacks in, or defend someone who's really, really low on health so you can get them an item. But again, this game just feels the name to dish it out randomly. But anyway, battle system works about the same as it does in previous games. That's your turn order on the left there, and the more actions you do, or whatever actions you do, will determine the turn order. And obviously some things will go first, some things will go second, yada 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 yada. And these guys are actually really high level. I might actually get my ass handed to me here, who would have thought? Probably a good idea to either focus on doing lots of... I'll probably focus on doing lots of damage, but at the same time, this is probably not going to end well for me. Thankfully, I do have a ability I can use to help me out with this. And I'll turn off skip so you can watch the animations play out. There is a skip mode that you can see in the bottom left there that you activate by pressing start. But Jesus!
I'll blow you all away.
But the thing about the skip mode is that it's not really that fast. It's actually pretty slow in comparison to, well, pretty much everything else. So you really have fairly slow. You really have fairly slow combat in this game, admittedly. What can I do here? I should probably give this guy a bit of his health back, because that was a lot of damage that he just took.
Please hit! Sleep! There!
And I did just break that enemy, so it
Hey,
made it
we
skip a
won.
turn, basically. That's pretty obvious. You get materials after every fight. And notably, you can also walk around these areas and find resources. You can see on the map that it actually maps out everything for you straight away, so you know exactly where all the resources are when you come in, and when you successfully manage to harvest everything in the area, it'll respawn and you'll be able to see everything that's there. It's unfortunately missing that little event system that was in, I think it was Atelier, Esker, and Logi, but I might be a little bit wrong about that. It might have been the game before that, but yeah, it's missing that system, which I'm a little bit disappointed by. Instead, it's been replaced by a system where if you can successfully clear out an area, or at the very least spend a lot of time here, you can see that I just got a second little thing on my minimap up in the top right there, and that means the ingredients that I gather will be better quality, but the monsters that show up here will be stronger too, so you need to be extremely careful, because you can very easily be outranked in this game. Getting XP isn't a very easy process. Notably, the resources you can get also change in between day and night, so you do have to pick your times, and time moves forward every time you pick up an item or fight an enemy. Notably a lot faster when you pick up an item versus fighting an enemy. Thankfully, you do get alerted if something's seen you just because it starts moving towards you on the map. And there are secondary areas, so I can just wander through here and it'll take me to another area of this section. Notably, you don't have to work your way through one side to the other like you used to in Rorona and the first trilogy, which is a little strange because you can just like wander right on through without having to do any real exploring, which is a little bit disappointing, honestly. The game feels a lot more streamlined than before. Also notably is that the game doesn't really have a... Well, I'm not going to say it doesn't have a set goal, because it has a set goal. The thing about it, though, is that the game... How do I put this? Oh, dear. Let's see, how many do we have to take out, and how... this is probably going to end badly for me. Thankfully, they're only level 4 enemies, so I should be okay, but at the same time, I probably should focus my attacks on something a little dangerous. It does tell you what's about to attack with how damaging the attack is going to be, so it's pretty nice in that regard, but it does tend to give you... What's the word I'm looking for? It does tend to give you a bit of advance warning as to what's going to do the most damaging amount of attacks, and therefore what to really focus your attack strength on. So, that guy... Alright. Sophie does the least damage, so I better focus her on that one there. I'll hit the green Pony a bit more. It's a weird name, Pony. I do gotta say... Oh god, he's down. That's not great. And they're all about to do massive attacks, so we should try and run for it. I hope that the first one doesn't miss. Yay! Run for it. And again, shit, what did I get stuck on?
Let's do it.
Oh, great. Well, I better just try running again otherwise, obviously.
When this fight's over, I'm gonna...
Not the best voice acting this time around. It is very... Ah, shit.
How could I lose?
Not the best voice acting this time around, I was gonna say. Imagine if I got game over on this. It'd actually be a pretty good time to go back and... Jesus, I'm a bit surprised at how hard this is, but then again, I'm really not, so... Please get away. Thank you. Oh, no wonder I couldn't move. I was thinking up a new recipe, but anyway, we'll get to that. As soon as I'm... Really? Really?
Pain. Let's end this.
Give me a fucking break! Jesus Christ!
I feel dizzy.
When this fight's over, I'm gonna...
Alright, now I can run for it. Jesus Christ almighty. But anyway. That was a quick description. That was a bit quick demonstration of the combat. I'm honestly not that big of a fan of it, honestly. I mean, it's the same as always, so, you know, I am kind of a bit burnt out on the whole idea, but at the same time, it's just... They made just a small change to how it works, and then didn't really bother to go much further with it. So, yeah, I'm not entirely sure if I'm a fan of that. But anyway, back to the world map we go. I'm going to head back home, because I do not have the HP to be sticking around here, so... Weirdly enough, most of the menus don't let you move with the analog stick, except this one. And if you're wondering why my analog stick isn't drifting upwards, it's because I swapped my sticks, so yay. But yeah. We'll move back to home base so I can explain how the rest of the game works. I picked up a few resources while I was out there, and I'm immediately going to be taken back to my Atelier, and I'll be able to show you how that works.
Hey, Plakta? There's something I thought of when you told me about the Cauldron of Knowledge.
What could that be?
If I got a new alchemy cauldron, would I be able to make better items?
Yes, I actually think that's possible.
Really? Then maybe I'll try making a better cauldron. But I don't know how to make one.
I know how. Would you like to try it?
You do? Yeah, tell me.
Very well.
Yeah, it's not much better voice acting than the Japanese dub, because I actually did try out the Japanese dub for a few minutes. The Japanese dumb, go me. But yeah, that's just the way it is. So I've discovered a few recipes here, and I'll happily show off what those are. But first, you can see up in the top left that I have days like all the other Atelier games. The thing is, I don't even have a goal yet. Like, that's time required, except for the, except for the book down here. The book is your main path through the story in this game, and you're required to help it out by learning recipes and stuff like that, but we'll get to that. You can come here to rest and move the game forward, or game time forward or back a little bit. You can come over here to save your game. It's pretty obvious. And here's the Atelier. Now, the majority of these games are about item crafting. By the majority, I mean all of them, because I'm an idiot who says majority.
Should I make?
So the idea is the resources you harvest as you walk around the levels and beat enemies and stuff are able to be crafted into items. And these items are very useful in many different ways. So we can make things like bombs, we can make healing medicine, we can make stuff for quests and all that. And I think it might be a good idea to actually go and check the other places in town first. But I won't show all of these off, but it's pretty obvious what most of them do. The game does actually tell you that you can visit areas for events a lot of the time, so it's actually a good idea to go do that every now and again, but nevertheless, most of these areas are pretty empty, except for the plaza, which has the... Yeah, it even tells you how much the time will move for, which is kind of nice. But there's the plaza, which will have the church, which has some items to sell. There's the old town, which has a library, which has stuff for you to sell. The blacksmith and the clock shop, yes, I read that very carefully, has a bunch of weapons and items. I'm not going to go to the blacksmith, because if you've played a previous Atelier game, that's probably going to be a spoiler or two, but... Nevertheless, we'll go to the cafe first, because the cafe is where you go to get requests in this game. They actually make a bit of a tongue-in-cheek reference to the previous games, because the cutscene that explains this actually says that there was a bulletin board, but it got too overcrowded, which was kind of funny.
Which request will you accept?
But anyway, you can come here to find reports, and you can turn in reports for money. And some have amount of days that need to be done. And some have... What's the word I'm thinking of? Some have the amount of days that need to be done by, so as you can see, I've got a week to defeat angry poonies. That's really weird to say. And you can also do things like make tea, and that's probably a good idea too. Oh, well, I've already got it selected, so that won't be a problem. But, yeah, it requires a tray, which I'm not entirely sure if I have or not, but yeah. We'll take common medicine, just so I know I have something I could finish. But the idea is that you want to be doing as many of these requests as possible because it helps the book remember stuff. We'll get into that. You can also get rumors. And rumors cost a lot of money, but you can get a lot of special kinds of ingredients through these. And you can also get things like tips. So if I get secrets of friendship...
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a little strange, but... Now, let's go for greatly grown magic grass.
Thank you.
And he'll tell you where something's happening, and if you go there, you can get a lot of resources in the one place. It's very useful indeed.
Welcome. What rumor?
So, that's how that works. And as you can see, I've got a little bit towards my next memory. Let's go and have a look at how that works. You've got the container, which contains all your different... brain, work with me here, please. It contains all the materials you've collected, and also your basket that you carry around with you that has all that. And all the stuff you've put together via synthesis and all that. Recipe ideas is how the game handles your recipe distribution this time. So there's no, like, stamp functionality like there was back in the other Atelier games. This time, your recipes are laid out on a grid like this. And you have to... Well, you don't have to do a previous recipe to unlock the next one. But that's just generally how... You just generally have to discover a recipe before you move on to the next one. So, here's how it works. You're given a goal here that tells you what the idea is that you need to have to unlock this recipe. So basically, it's go do this and unlock this recipe. And then it'll tell you how to make it. And the idea is you learn how to make things, and then you come across these locks. And these locks will tell you... These locks will tell you how to, brain work with me here. These locks are story relevant, so they'll give you... things that you can... It'll give you really good things that you can go do. So yeah, that's just generally how that works. And it's an interesting system, more or less. It's a neat idea, having it to... brain work with me here. It's a neat idea, having the girl having to figure out how to do the recipes via just thinking about them, via doing specific goals. And the game does actually help you out with this. There's a thing it introduces called clipping, where if you... decide to clip something, you can do this with like the encyclopedia and stuff like that. If you press R while you're on the menu here, you can go and have a look at a specific recipe or a specific item or something like that. So you can actually, if you forget what you need to do or you want to do a quick checklist of what you want to do, you can just clip it. It actually works pretty well. Notably though, the game has a distinct lack of just, what's the word I'm looking for? Hasteness, basically. Like, you don't really need to be rushing, at least at this point of the game. I imagine there's some sort of ending that requires you to get it done real quick, but at the same time, it's surprisingly lightweight for the first 3 hours into the game. So that's just generally how that works. You do also have events, which will tell you what you have to do in the story and all that, and you can go and do other things like helping out other characters and stuff. You do have your typical equipment, and you can synthesize things like accessories and all that, but you can also go and buy them from the blacksmith. Unfortunately, the blacksmith isn't really giving me anything yet, so I'm still kind of low on everything. These games are fairly slow to start, because that's just generally what they are. You can do formations, and that's exactly what you expect. Status, pretty much exactly the same thing. It tells you all your abilities and all that. There's no, what's the word I'm looking for? There's no dressing room this time around, actually, is there? Well, maybe there was on the main menu and I'm a goddamn idiot and missed it, but... You know me, I tend not to see shit for some reason. And, of course, you can get your settings here, and, as always, there's the encyclopedia, which will tell you everything you need to know. Now, let's go and actually do some crafting, and then I'll go back out and fight a few more things. Back to the Atelier, and it's always worth going to the front of the Atelier and then walking through the front door, because there's resources outside, but I won't be doing that. I'll just go straight back to the Atelier. So we need to make some Berg medicine, so let's go make some Berg medicine. It's funny, I know a guy who calls himself Berg online.
material should I choose?
But anyway, here's how this works. So, every item has a size, traits, and effects, and there's also that thing down in the bottom right there, which will give you your quality, your use count, and your different items' attributes. I don't know what they're called, but basically, if you get them above a specific point, as indicated by those lines, you'll get a special ability. So, these resources here are part of the required, and if I select a couple of them, it'll give me a couple of points towards HP recovery. Now, I can also select different items here. So, I will go with the 21, and let's pick something else here. You might be wondering what that size is, because as far as I'm aware, that's pretty new to this series. So, we'll just select these three.
Well?
And this is the grid, the material grid. So, we have to put these items down on this grid.
Right.
And we've got to try and find a way to put them all down in effective ways.
This looks great.
The downside to this is that
this
every
reaction
item
is
has a different size, and you have to try and fill up as much of the grid as
Does this go
possible.
well?
And if you don't fill up as much of the grid as possible, you will not be able to get as many bonuses from the item, because because you can see that I got mostly green bonuses there, and since I got mostly green bonuses,
Alright.
that means
great.
that I needed to...
This looks kind of amazing.
Since I got mostly green bonuses, it mostly adds a bonus
Will this
to
go well?
the green there. But you can also get different bonuses in different colors and stuff like that. The problem is that you can't overlay items on top of each other, so you need to try and find a way to make them all fit as best as possible. But once you do, you can synthesize them. And when you synthesize them, you get the item.
Done and done. What trait should
Now
I
we can
add?
also add a trait to the item, and you get this as you level up, and you can add more traits as time goes on, and we'll just add the
this?
jumbo size, which makes it absolutely freaking enormous, but that's alright by me.
This is all
And you
done.
get alchemy experience, and the more complex stuff you make, the more stuff you get, the better stuff you can get. I can actually build this?
Material
Seriously?
should I
Alright,
choose?
I'll build a better cauldron, why not? Just as a demonstration of how this all works. So we will do this. This. What's a vertical flip? I have no idea. And we can also... So yeah, as you can see, this also upgrades the panel size. Like, I haven't been this far yet, so...
Will this go well?
Let's put some
Okay,
stuff in here.
I'll try
So,
it.
white bonuses,
Alright.
please.
This looks great.
Those bonuses too,
Whoa,
please.
This looks kind
Yeah,
of
see,
amazing.
you have to be very careful about how you decide to go about this, because you can
Whoa.
run out of size very,
kind of
very
amazing.
quickly. It's very easy to pull off.
Alright. This looks
And you
great.
do have to
I like
decide
something
whether or
great
not
will
you want to
happen.
keep some particular resource in particular. Like,
Oh,
now that I've got all this
reaction
filled
is
up,
interesting.
now I need to find a place to put this down. But if I put it down here, this means that these ones will get deselected. If I put it down here, it means these ones will get deselected. You do need to be very, very specific about how you do this. And considering this is a cauldron and a relatively important
Oh,
thing
this
to
reaction
do,
is
I'm
interesting.
going to want to try and find the best way to stick these all together as possible. So, put this there.
I feel like something great will happen.
Put this here.
Alright. This looks
This
great.
here.
I feel like something great will happen.
And I'll put that there.
Whoa.
And now I can put this
Looks
here
kind of amazing.
and get a bunch of
Will this
things
go well?
here. So, there we go.
Alright, I'll finish it now.
And as you can see, synthesis also takes time, so that's just how it works. Didn't get much experience for making a bonus cauldron, but there we go.
It's done, Plakta.
I see that this properly contains the power of alchemy. You should be able to use this as an alchemy cauldron.
Really? That's good.
However, you will have to handle this type of cauldron a little differently from the one you've been using. If you can create other types of cauldrons, you'll greatly expand the scope of your alchemy. You'll have to think about that for yourself, though.
Okay, I got it.
That floating book is a bit temperamental, because it's very easy to accidentally call her weird. Or just, you know, she is weird. She's a fucking book. Give me a break. It makes sense in context. So let's go to the cafe and turn that quest in. Notably, the town also works on a round of 5 days. It's a week of 5 days. So once you've done... I don't really want to have to give this up, but I will just for the purpose of demonstration. So I get the quest done and more memory points. Very minor amount of memory points, but memory points nonetheless. And it's pretty much standard Atelier fare, especially when it comes to the story. It's very lighthearted. It doesn't feel like you're in danger at all, at least in the first few hours. I really need to get around to playing these games a bit more thoroughly, but yeah, there's no voice acting here. I really need to get around to playing these games a bit more thoroughly. This girl's outfit is ridiculous, but I just haven't had the time to play them, because there are like 6 games in this series now, in 3 separate trilogies. This girl looks like she's not even wearing any underwear. This is ridiculous. Alright, I'll just... Can I skip the rest of this somehow? I can always come back to it. Oh well. I do like the cinematic style of cutscenes are actually voiced though, where the black bars come in and you can just watch the scene like it's a little bit like a movie. It's a minor change, but I like it stylistically at the very least. But once again, it's another Atelier game, and they really haven't changed that much. So it's a little bit strange more than anything else. I'm a little bit disappointed, honestly. Let's go fight... Well, I'll come down here first so I can check out that rumor, and then we'll head to the place where the other beasts turn up at night, so we can actually try finding something a little challenging. But let's go have a look around. As we can see by a gigantic clump of green dots up in the top right there, that's where our rumor is. It's not as hard as it used to be. Like, Rorona used to actually put a lot of emphasis on you to find where stuff was and how to get into work and stuff like that, but this game just doesn't really insist on doing that at all. It's really strange just how easy this game is in comparison to the previous ones. I guess if you put the difficulty up to crushing, you'd... Or, well, it's not crushing, I think it's despair or something like that, which is kind of funny in context of Vita games, but yeah, it's a little bit surprising how easy it is, but then again, if you put it up to despair, you probably wouldn't even be able to last a single fight, so probably worth thinking about that once you go into the game. But thankfully, you can just swap the difficulty anytime that you feel like it, so that's actually kind of nice. Anyway, hello. You can attack to get the first hit, but
Whoa.
when it comes to an enemy like this, probably not gonna help. Like, look at that. I'm probably gonna fucking die, but worth a try anyway, right? So we'll put her on defensive, and we can increase everyone's base damage. That's probably worth the attempt at doing, and we'll save his abilities for later, because his spinning shovel isn't very useful against just one enemy.
Fly away!
See, look at how little damage this does. This is why I got the bonus damage. Right, so we gotta try and break his shit wide open before he, you know, does a massive attack on all of us. We can defend too, so we might want to actually do... Okay, you defend, you can attack, and you can attack because you've got decent amounts of health. Here comes the attack. And it hits everyone. And the one girl who was on defense gets poisoned. Because of course she does. Screw me. Okay. Better relaxing herb. The one who needs it the most. And light edge. Now my chain link's at 100%. It doesn't actually overflow like it used to, which is a little bit disappointing.
I'll go first.
The animations are nice, and the game runs pretty well, all things considered. There are drops, you know, because every Atelier game has had those, but it runs a little better than the previous ones did, and again, it's a turn-based RPG, so it's not like it really matters. Give it a break, you know? Again, it's another Atelier game. Like, what do you want from Atelier? Because Atelier is basically exactly the same thing. it's got little improvements
Great work,
here and there
everyone.
and everywhere, but it's just, yay, I got another thing to go craft. Kind of neat being able to do that just out of nowhere, and it does kind of give the impression that she is like thinking about what she's doing, which is kind of nice, but it just spawned another one right there, didn't it? Yep. Better not fight that son of a bitch. But yeah, that's the Atelier series in a nutshell, let alone just this game. It's fun. It's fun to craft stuff and fight enemies and stuff like that. It doesn't do anything different than the other ones though, and I mean, considering it's the first game of the third trilogy, it might not be that bad of a place to start. In fact, it really isn't that bad of a place to start considering how laid back it is just in general, but at the same time, it's just a little bit too formulaic for me to outright recommend it. But I mean, if you haven't played this series before, or if you're a fan of the series, you're probably not going to be too distracted by either of these facts. So, it's not too bad, not by any means.
Who could that be? Yes, it's open.
Oh, it's this guy again.
Excuse me. Is this the Alchemist's Atelier?
Yes.
Yeah, they say Atelier in this game.
Oh, wait.
Like,
You're
it's weird.
You're the guy who saved me.
I thought it was always Atelier, but I guess I was wrong.
Oh, you're the girl from before. What a coincidence. That reminds me, I hadn't told you my name. I am Julio, a knight of Atelier.
Not the best place to zoom in on a texture there, guys.
Sir Julio. My name's Sophie.
Sophie. That's a fine name.
Thank you. But you said you came from Atelier? That's a neighboring country. Must have been a hard journey.
It was no trouble at all. I'm actually conducting an investigation on alchemy, visiting alchemists in various regions. I heard that there was an elderly alchemist living in this town, and I came to speak with him.
Oh, I think you're referring to my grandma.
Oh, I see. Is your grandmother home now?
I'm very sorry, Sir Julio. My grandma actually already...
Oh, I didn't know. I'm quite sorry. I'm sure my asking was unpleasant.
No, it's okay. I'm sorry you came all this way for nothing.
No, that's nothing for you to apologize for. But this is quite a problem. It seemed the alchemy your grandmother used was closest to that which I require. Alchemy using certain materials as a base to create completely different things. A shame.
Sounds like a suitable candidate is right in front of you.
Hey, Plokta! You're going to shock him. Don't just start talking out of nowhere.
A talking book. I'd expect no less from the Atelier of an alchemist.
You're not surprised?
I'm surprised, but I've seen quite a lot of the mysterious power of alchemy up until now. But a suitable candidate?
I'm just gonna skip the rest of this because
yes.
you get the idea, but it really is just another Atelier game. It's the start of another Atelier trilogy. It's not terrible. It's not amazing. It's not terrible, but it's well put together. It's entertaining to put stuff together, and yeah, I got a fourth member. So yeah, this is just generally the way things work in these games, and you know, it's exactly the same as the previous games. If that's a good or a bad thing to you, if that's a yes or a no to you, you've basically got your answer as to whether or not you want to buy this. It's fine, really. No bugs either, which is kind of nice. I remember when I found those weird bugs when I was playing the previous ones, but yeah, that was a quick look at Atelier Sophie. It's exactly the same as it's always been. This is Blue Maxima, and I'll see you all next time.